This is Marcellus Williams. He is an innocent man, and he is about to be executed on September 24th. And the only thing that stands between him and his execution is you. Welcome to the show. Marcellus Williams was convicted of murder. He was set to be executed. He has remained. He has told everybody close to him, he's held tight to the fact that he is innocent. And recently, technology caught up with the case. And now, nobody believes he is guilty of the crime. So why is Marcellus Williams still getting executed? It's because of a technicality. I know when people talk about crimes, convictions, technicality, they often talk about, oh, they got off on a technicality. Now, more often than not, that technicality is the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the very foundation of the American justice system. And so for me, that's not a technicality. That is in most cases, in almost all of the cases, it's about a prosecutor and investigators doing shady crap. And when the government does shady crap, they should not get away with it. Let's hear from the Innocense Project more about Marcellus Williams. Marcellus Williams is scheduled to be executed on September 24th for a crime he did not commit. DNA evidence proves Marcellus Williams is innocent. Marcellus Williams is scheduled to be executed on September 24th for a crime DNA proves he did not commit. The St. Louis County prosecuting attorney reviewed these DNA results and filed a motion to vacate Mr. Williams' conviction because he believed the DNA results proved by clear and convincing evidence that Mr. Williams did not commit this crime. Although the circuit court has not yet scheduled a hearing to address this motion, and no court has ever considered the new exculpatory evidence, the Missouri Supreme Court has set an execution date for Mr. Williams. Let's move on to who is Marcellus Williams. Here is what you need to know about the case. A crime scene covered with forensic evidence contained no link to Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams has been seeking to prove his innocence throughout the 23 years he spent on Missouri's death row. On August 11, 1998, Felicia Gaylor, a former reporter for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, was found stabbed to death in her home. The perpetrator left behind considerable forensic evidence, including fingerprints, footprints, hair, and trace DNA on the murder weapon, a knife from Miss Gaylor's kitchen. None of these forensic evidence matches Mr. Williams. The prosecution's case against Mr. Williams was based entirely on the unreliable testimony of two incentivized witnesses. The case against Mr. Williams turned on the testimony of two unreliable witnesses who were incentivized by promises of leniency in their own pending criminal cases and reward money. The investigation had gone cold until a Yale inmate named Henry Cole, a man with a lengthy record, claimed that Mr. Williams confessed to him that he committed the murder while they were both locked up in jail. Cole directed the police to Laura Osoro, a woman who had briefly dated Mr. Williams and had an extensive record of her own. Both of these individuals were known fabricators. Neither revealed any information that was not either included in media accounts about the case or already known to the police. The statements were inconsistent with their own prior statements, with each other's accounts, with the crime scene evidence, and none of the information they provided could be independently verified. Aside from the testimony, the only evidence connecting Mr. Williams to the crime scene was a witness who said Mr. Williams sold him a laptop taken from Miss Gale's home. But the jury did not learn that Mr. Williams told the witness he had received the laptop from Laura Asaro. So yeah, folks. Prison snitch who was and you know this if you've seen me before, but I will say it again. If you've seen me before, you already know this. If you haven't, this is new to you, but it shouldn't be. Prison snitches has nothing to lose by lying. Absolutely nothing. If they lie and are believed, they get leniency. If they lie and don't be believed, they won't even be on the stand. They will have what they already had. The prison sentence they already have. They have 100% incentive to lie. I do not understand why prison snitches are allowed in courts. I do not know. Because for me, these are less reliable than bite marks, who nowadays are excluded. They are less reliable than lie detectors, who also are excluded from courts, but they are still used. Why? Because it's easy. It's easy for the prosecution to give leniency to an actual criminal in order to get somebody else convicted, because they are out for conviction, not the truth. And it's appalling. New DNA testing confirms Mr. Williams is innocent, yet no court has considered that evidence. As he has fought to prove his innocence, Mr. Williams has repeatedly faced imminent execution. To date, no court has given substantive consideration to the evidence exonerating him. In 2015, the Missouri Supreme Court stayed Mr. Williams' execution and appointed a special master to review DNA testing of potentially exculpatory evidence. This testing showed that Mr. Williams was not the source of male DNA found on the murder weapon. However, in 2017, after the testing was completed, but without conducting a hearing or making any findings based on the outcome of the testing, the appointed special master sent Mr. Williams' case back to the Missouri Supreme Court. That court, also without considering the DNA testing results, again scheduled Mr. Williams' execution. Recognizing that the new evidence raised serious doubts about Mr. Williams' guilt, then Governor Eric Greitens stayed the execution and convened a board of inquiry to investigate the case on August 22, 2017, mere hours before Mr. Williams' execution and after his last meal. Under Missouri law, the stay was to remain in place until the board of inquiry concluded its review and issued a formal report. Yet in June of 2023, while the board of inquiry's review remained ongoing, Governor Mike Parson, without warning or notice, dissolved the board without a report or recommendation from the board. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. Andrew Bailey. You heard about him from my previous. That is the absolute butt wipe who wants a woman who has been 43 years in prison wrongfully. They know who the perpetrator was in her case. It was a cop. And this piece of human garbage still wants her to serve time. And this Mr. Bailey, this bloodthirsty little piece of shit, he knows Mr. Williams is innocent. He knows. But he wants to kill him anyway. This is on Mr. Bailey and the Supreme Court. whose bloodthirst seems to be, we don't care about evidence, we want to kill him. Why? I don't know. You speculate. I won't. Because, okay, let's speculate. They enjoy killing people, but they enjoy doing it under the disguise of law. Mr. Williams sued Governor Parson because the dissolution of the board without a report or recommendation violated the law and his constitutional rights. The governor tried to dismiss the lawsuit, but a Cole County civil judge denied his request. The governor then asked the Missouri Supreme Court to intervene. The Missouri Supreme Court agreed to intervene, and on June 4th, 2024, it dismissed the lawsuit and immediately scheduled Mr. Williams' execution for September 24th, 2024. In 2024, the St. Louis County prosecuting attorney concluded that Mr. Williams was actually innocent and moved to vacate his conviction. After the exculpatory DNA evidence was brought to his attention, St. Louis County prosecuting attorney Wesley Bell appointed a special prosecutor to review Mr. Williams' case. The special prosecutor reviewed the findings of 3 independent DNA experts. All 3 concluded that Mr. Williams was not the source of male DNA on the weapon, and therefore could not have killed Miss Gale. Mr. Williams' exclusion from the murder weapon is consistent with his exclusion from the other forensic evidence collected from the crime scene, including a bloody shoe print and hairs found near the victim's body. Recognizing that new evidence suggests that Mr. Williams is actually innocent, the St. Louis County prosecuting attorney filed a motion to vacate Mr. Williams' conviction in January of 2024. The motion states, DNA evidence supporting a conclusion that Mr. Williams was not the individual who stabbed Miss Gale has never been considered by any court. This never before considered evidence, when paired with the relative paucity of other credible evidence supporting guilt, casts inexorable doubt on Mr. Williams' conviction and sentence. The prosecuting attorney urged the circuit court to begin the process of correcting this manifest injustice by holding a hearing of the newfound evidence and the integrity of Mr. Williams' conviction. 5. The Missouri Attorney General continues a history of fighting innocence cases. Yeah, this Mr. Bailey seems to be a top-notch, absolute garbage human being. How did he get elected? I assume because mob mentality. I don't know. I haven't heard of this absolute piece of human garbage before Miss Hem, for the Miss Hem case, which he is an equal amount of asshole in. But it seems like he's just evil. Plain and simple. I'm sure he goes to church. I'm sure he has a Bible. And I'm sure none of it matters to him as long as he can kill people under the disguise of the law. The Missouri Attorney General's office has argued in other death penalty cases that even DNA evidence of innocence is not enough to stop an execution. This is before he. The Missouri Attorney General's office has argued in other death penalty cases that even DNA evidence of innocence is not enough to stop an execution. In a 2003 oral argument before the Missouri Supreme Court, Justice Laura Danvers Stith asked Assistant Attorney General Frank Young, quote, "Are you suggesting, even if we found that Mr. Amrin is actually innocent, he should be executed?" The answer was, "That is correct, Your Honor," from Mr. Young. The Missouri court ultimately disagreed and Mr. Amrin was exonerated. But over 20 years later, the same arguments are still being made. The Missouri Attorney General's office has opposed every innocence case for the last 30 years, including every attempt made by a local prosecutor to overturn a conviction on the basis of innocence, as the St. Louis County prosecuting attorney is doing in Mr. Williams' case. In 2021 and 2023, Kevin Strickland and Lamar Johnson were exonerated despite the Attorney General's attempts to thwart the prosecution's motions to vacate. And then it goes on and on and on. So this is the case of Marcellus Williams, who will be executed unless you, me, we put a stop to it. And that is by putting pressure on the state of Missouri. And stop electing morons into public office. It is clear as the light of day that Mr. Bailey not only should never hold a position of power, he deserves homelessness, poverty. He deserves to be put through garbage because he is garbage, in my opinion. Yeah, that's what I have for you in this case at the moment. If you want to hear more about it, tell me in the comment section. If you think my language is too foul, you can tell me, or you can switch to another channel because this is pissing me off. So here, yeah, hit the like button, hit the down like button, subscribe or unsubscribe. This is about Mr. Williams' life. He is actual innocent, and the government is trying to kill him. Okay. Thank you for listening. Until next time, hug your family. Unless your family is crap, then screw them and give your love to the people who deserve it. Okay? Thank you. Bye-bye.